It says, Dear Stephen, last month I quit smoking tobacco after being addicted for many years and decided also not to drink for at least a month. I'm a month down the road. In the last 2 weeks, I actually feel worse than I did before quitting it all. I lost my energy and feel depressed. This made me realize I escaped a lot more with the substances than I initially thought. An ancient pain has arisen. I find it difficult to deal with the sadness and life's basic obligations. Everything is just barely manageable now. This intense loneliness visits me daily. It's a familiar feeling I used to have as a kid or teenager and managed to escape with work, partying, women, etc. But nothing seems to work anymore. Combine this with an overwhelming feeling of not being good enough to get what I want in my lifetime, and we have a nice cocktail for believing I'm trapped. I'm less creative than ever, and creativity plays a big role in my finances and enjoyment of life. And when I'm not around others, I can feel completely numb. I feel like I lost my passion and drive in life quite a while ago, but I really don't know how to find the connection to my inner divinity again. Do you have any idea how I can gracefully steer through this dark time? I really want to go through my emotions instead of avoiding them. I just don't feel like sitting down and letting it be is doing it for me.
Right. Thank you for that question. When I read these, I read questions. I read these questions earlier, and this one really hit home for me. I have a lot of identification with you. I also drank and like I said, and smoked. And I remember when I first, it's at the beginning of my recovery journey, I thought I could just stop everything all at the same time. And I remember my friend who's had more experience in recovery told me to just take it easy. Easy does it. Focus on what was killing me first, what was the biggest problem that I had. And at that time it was alcohol and drugs. So he told me to continue smoking. I'm not telling you to continue smoking, but that's what I did for myself. And so I focused on my alcohol and drugs first, started doing 12-step recovery, and that helped me tremendously. He also suggested to me to just not stop quitting, just to keep, even if I picked up again, to just quit again, just keep quitting, because eventually it will take. In listening to your question, one of the things that strikes me is that when we put these substances in our bodies, right? When we put these substances in the body, they have a chemical reaction. You take those substances away and there's a chemical reaction. And the things that we feel internally are part of a chemical process. And so it's not surprising that you're feeling these ups and downs, these waves of emotion, so kind of swinging from one pendulum, one end of the spectrum to the other. And I would suggest seeing a counselor. A counselor could be very helpful to you in this process. Just having someone to listen to you. Just having someone to take these experiences and your thoughts and your feelings to, and just sit and have an opportunity to check in with someone in that way. That's very intimate. That's very safe. That's very private. And then what I would also add to that is, I think this Qigong session that we're going to do later on, as well as this Qigong component of the course, as well as the self-care practices, are going to help you move some of this emotional energy. When I was first introduced to Qigong, I was in the middle of a very turbulent time in my life that I didn't quite know how to manage. And I talk about it in the course when I share my story with all of you. And I tell you, starting my Qigong training at that time was life-changing because it gave me a way to manage and direct and guide the emotional energy in my body. Because the emotions that we have and the things that we've experienced embed themselves in our cells and our tissues. And Qigong is a wonderful way to help move that energy, to give a little bit of space in the body and in the mind to allow in your divine wisdom and your insights and intuitions to help guide you through some of the most challenging periods of your life. That's been my experience. And that might be your experience too. So I highly recommend that. And one last thing I'll say, when I got sober, I thought that my creativity was going to end. My creativity, I thought, was so closely tied to my drinking, to my drug use, to my cigarette smoking. I was so amazed to find out that wasn't true. I had this amazing burst of creativity in my early recovery that was life-changing, and it continues to grow and flourish. So this idea that your creativity is gone, in part because of this time of your life that you're experiencing right now, I don't believe that to be true, because it wasn't true for me. And if what happened to me was true for me, it might even be true for you. So I hope what I said helped you.